You know that feeling you get when you want to do something, but you just can't bring yourself to start? That immense pressure just builds up and you literally start picking anything else to do except that one thing you want to start. Oh, I haven't organized my hoodies by color this week, or I haven't dusted the windowsills yet. Author Steven Pressfield, in his book, The War of Art, described resistance as the most powerful force in the universe. So powerful, he even wrote a whole book about it. Resistance is that force that makes you literally do anything except that one thing that you want to do. I see this time and time again, whether I'm coaching clients or I'm working with other coaches. They meet resistance and they let it win. They let it win time and time again. They build so much evidence that they can't win against resistance that it completely nerfs their ability to accomplish anything they set their mind to. Resistance can stem from any number of things, whether it be past experiences, limiting self-belief, specific traumas in some instances, but I think it boils down to one key characteristic, a habit that most people lack. I use the word habit very specifically here because overcoming resistance is something that needs to be practiced, a habit that's built over time. That habit is the ability to keep promises that you set for yourself. Keeping a promise is the most important thing that builds trust within a relationship, and it fortifies the bond within groups. We all know the guilt and shame that we feel when we don't keep promises to others. But when was the last time you felt that same guilt or shame when you don't hold a promise to yourself? We just don't feel those same parallel emotions. Do we really place the value of a relationship with somebody else over the value of the relationship that we hold with ourselves? I personally don't think so, or at least I don't think we should. We're quick to apologize for others when they fall short, but when was the last time that you apologized to yourself? I'd bet money that you never have. Andrew Huberman has been speaking extensively on something that he calls the anterior mid-cingulate cortex. This is a portion of the brain that actually grows when we overcome resistance, and it shrinks when we give in to resistance. So when we do hard things, our brain actually adapts by growing this area, making it easier for us to do hard things. The caveat here is, once you overcome resistance enough times and it doesn't actually become hard to do it, you don't get that same adaptation. And I'm a meathead at heart, so I'll always bring it back to weight training. This is just another case for progressive overload training. See, I can make everything about training. The anterior mid-cingulate cortex is interesting because it's literally the anatomical analog to overcoming resistance. It actually grows when we do it. It grows when we galvanize the relationship that we're building with ourselves through keeping promises. And when it grows, we develop the ability to rely on ourselves, the same way that we would hope others can rely on us. Now, since I've been triggering so many people, I'm going to do it again. I think self-compassion has its place, but the current narrative of radical self-compassion is doing a lot of damage to people. We do need to practice self-forgiveness, the same way we do for other people. It's quite easy to forgive people who try and fail, but imagine how hard it is to forgive someone who never even tried in the first place. Unfortunately, the current narrative of radical self-compassion teaches us that we should forgive ourselves even in the absence of effort. This is a huge misstep in my opinion. And why? Because if you forgive yourself, even without effort, and you continuously give in to resistance, you're collecting evidence that you cannot overcome hard things. If you compared this to your relationship with somebody else, you would no doubt grow to resent that person who never followed through and never tried. Well, you too will grow to resent yourself if you continue to practice this radical self-compassion. You'll grow to see yourself as someone who's largely unreliable. So what then? Well, it's time to throw radical self-compassion out the window and start to build some evidence that we can face hard things and overcome them. You need to build trust in yourself as someone who doesn't back down in the face of challenges. You need to hold yourself to the same high standard that you hold yourself in all of your other relationships, because the relationship with yourself is the most important one that you have. So, it's time to start treating it that way and start keeping promises to yourself.